Yo, what is up YouTube? It's IFM here, back once again, bringing you more high-level matches from the top players in competitive Pokemon, following the Smogon World Cup of Pokemon as it plays out. We got a great match for you today. It's Reiku from Team Spain versus Tesung from Team Italy. Now, Raiku's running your standard sand balance team with a little bit of sweepers in his Feraligatr and his Alakazam. Tesung, on the other hand, is breaking out the contrary superior, as well as just, a standard offensive team with a little bit of spike support from the Klefki. Now, without further ado, let's get into this match and see who's able to come out on top. Now, Raiku's going to be leading with the Hippowdon here against Tesung's Azumarill, and right away, Raiku's probably going to be forced out, but he goes for a massive play, predicting that the Azumarill is going to be wanting to superpower the Ferrothorn, and is able to get his Stealth Rocks up as Tesung massively overpredicts right there, and only does feeble 43.6% to that Hippowdon, and now he's forced to switch that out. That was most likely choice band damage. Hippowdon's just going to, stay in here, going to get the slack off up. And now he's, going to be able to threaten that Garchomp, because the only thing Garchomp can really do to a Hippowdon is, throw out Stealth Rocks of his own. So both players are going to get their hazards up early, and Raiku's going to get a little bit of chip damage on that Garchomp with the Earthquake. Now, Tesung reveals here that he is, in fact, the Swords Dance Stealth Rock Garchomp, but Hippowdon, makes a smart play, just whirlwinds that out of here. And Raiku's back on the front foot as Raikou gets switched in against the Raikou. So that's going to be switching out of here because this Hippowdon is doing work on Tesung's team. And he's going to be able to, throw out an Earthquake with that Hippowdon, get a little bit of chip damage on the Superior. Might be able to, heal it off with a Giga Drain at some point in the match, but that's going to be relatively permanent damage on it. And now, for Tesung though, he is able to get a little bit of momentum back on his side. Able to throw out a knockoff with that Superior, take a little bit of Iron Barb damage, go down to 57%, and the Ferrothorn loses its leftovers. But it's not going to be worried too much about a +0 Superior, only doing 37.5% with the hidden power. And Ferrothorn's able to get a layer of spikes up and start racking up the hazard damage on Tesung's team, as Tesung, as you can see, does not have either a Defog user or a Spinner. So there's going to be one more hidden power thrown out there. And Superior is going to take some massive damage from that Gyro Ball, and is able to heal up to about 18% after the leftover recovery. Now, Ferrothorn obviously doesn't have leftovers, and Raiku's just going to switch it out so he can switch it in and get some Iron Bar damage in later on in the match. And Heatran's going to be able to take pretty much everything Superior has to throw at it, as it is it's going to not take anything from Leaf Storm or Giga Drain, obviously nothing from Hidden Power Fire, but the Fire Blast misses on the Superior. He reveals he is in fact Scarf Heatran, and that Choice Scarf is going to be gone as it's knocked off there by Superior. Tesung was just, sacrificing the Pokemon because it wouldn't have been able to switch in again with the Stealth Rocks and the Spikes up. Now another Leaf Storm just flies into Heatran's face, and this time he's able to connect with the Flash Cannon, take the Superior down, and take a quick 5-6 lead on the match, get a little bit of the score going in his favor. Garchomp's going to come in here, and definitely a Swords Dance Garchomp's going to be a lot faster than the Heatran. And Heatran later on in the match could have been a huge threat to Tesung's team, able to fire off those Scarf Fire Blasts, Scarf Flash Cannons obviously, and get a lot of damage racking up. Now Garchomp's going to go for the Earthquake, try to threaten the Heatran, but it's going to switch out, and Hippowdon's coming in as Garchomp throws up another Swords Dance, but, Raiku's just going to respond with a Whirlwind, get the Garchomp out of here, and once again, Raikou gets Whirlwinded into Raikou. And same situation as before. Hippowdon's not really worried about a Raikou. It's going to take decent damage from Hidden Power Ice, but would be able to one-hit KO back immediately with the Earthquake. So Tesung keeps that in mind, switches in his Garchomp to eat the Earthquake and get taken down to 4% health. So that Garchomp is not coming in again, and pretty much any damage it's going to do here is going to be the last it's going to do of the battle. So Raiku's most likely just going to slack off up to 100%. Never mind, he's just going to go for the Earthquake straight away. Doesn't want to risk the Swords Dance from the Garchomp, because that would be able to take Hippowdon down to about 50% health after one Swords Dance. So he's just going to say, I'm happy with 68%. And now he has a great switch in left in the Ferrothorn into this Azumarill, hoping it's not a belly Azumarill, but most likely those do not carry superpower, so he's going to be able to eat one attack with the Ferrothorn, get a little bit of damage up on the Azumarill with those Iron Barbs, take out 12.5% of its health, and things are looking a little bit grim here for Tesung, though he does get his first kill of the match with Ferrothorn going down. And in comes the Heatran here, obviously without its Scarf, so it's able to play around a little bit with its moves, and Azumarill is going to be switching out as it doesn't want to be play rough in the Heatran at all. And, Raiku's able to go with a great prediction there. Able to kill the Raikou. Who would have thought the Raikou kills the Raikou, takes it down with an Earth Power, but now that Heatran, lacking its Choice Scarf, is not going to be able to threaten this Aerodactyl at all. And anyways, he wouldn't be able to do it even locked into a Choice Scarf. Earth Power, so Aerodactyl's able to get in, able to get his Mega Evolution off, and able to fire off a powerful Tough Claw, Stone Edge, taking down the Heatran, and bringing the match to 4-3. But the issue is Feraligatr is going to do a shit ton to Tesung's team, and it's going to be quite difficult for him to deal with it as he just sends in his Klefki, hoping to maybe status it or hit it with something like a Play Rough to get a little damage off, but that's not happening anytime soon. As you can see, the Sheer Force Life Orb Waterfall just fucks the Klefki up, takes it down to, very minimal health. And the only option here that Tesung has is to really try to get some status up there, or go for just, a little bit of the hazard play as he gets his own layer of spikes up as well. So now Raiku's Pokemon are going to be taking a little bit of damage every single time they switch in, as one more layer of spikes flies up on the field, and Raiku's just going to get the Klefki out of here with the Whirlwind, and he's going to Whirlwind in the Azumarill. Azumarill is able to threaten out the Hippowdon now, and Raiku's team doesn't have a whole lot that wants to take either a Waterfall or a Play Rough from the Azumarill, and as a result, he's just forced to switch in his Feraligatr here and eat the, we'll wait for it a sec, eat the Waterfall to the face, take it down to a measly 12% after the sand damage that there isn't. I apologize there's no sand damage, and Tesung's forced to just sacrifice the Klefki to the hazards to avoid taking damage on either of his two key Pokemon left, the Aerodactyl or the Azumarill. But the Dragon Dance does go up here, but thankfully enough for Tesung, Aerodactyl's able to outspeed a Feraligatr after a Dragon Dance, so he's not overly worried here. He's just going to go for the Iron Head, go for the safe play. But if this was a bulkier sort of Feraligatr set, that wouldn't have KO'd. So he decides to, go for a little bit of risk, but he doesn't want to risk the 20% chance miss from a Stone Edge. And now Hippowdon comes in, he's going to be able to wall Aerodactyl quite well, unless it gets frozen like it does there by the Ice Fang. Hippowdon's dead in the water, and Tesung has started to pull this game back into his favor, as Aerodactyl is going to be able to deal pretty favorably with the Alakazam and the Latios with a Stone Edge and an Ice Fang, respectively. And Hippowdon goes down to the second Ice Fang, and now it's down to this Aerodactyl versus the Alakazam. Is Aerodactyl going to be able to kill the Mega Alakazam with the Stone Edge? It's time to find out. And the Stone Edge gets fired off, and it does 97% health. That was most likely a roll. Alakazam is able to kill in revenge on the Aerodactyl, take it down, and take the victory, as Latios is going to be able to clean up the Azumarill in a little bit. And that's a victory on the board for Spain here. Able to take down Tesung of Team USA West. Able to get, a little bit of the matchups going in their favor. They had a favorable matchup there with the Feraligatr, with the Alakazam, and thankfully we're able to just tank through that Aerodactyl. Obviously that Fire Blast miss sucked earlier, but they were able to come back from that. Great play there by Raikou. Even killed his opponent's Raikou. Takes down the Azumarill, takes the victory, and gets Team Spain going in the right direction there. Now thank you so much for tuning into this video. Just going to be a quick one, and I just want to let you guys know we're going to be getting a new mic in most likely tomorrow, so that should be pretty fun. I'm going to pump out a lot of videos over the upcoming weekend covering all that Smogon World Cup of Pokemon has to offer. So once again, thank you guys for tuning in here. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. This is IFM. See you on the flip side.